Hello, Professor Mira, and welcome to my presentation on the mathematical side of music by yours truly, Hector Vazquez. Music has been connected to mathematics for many years. Going back to the time of the ancient Greeks, music is considered to be part of the conjugal mathematical arts, which includes arithmetic, geometry, and astronomy, including with music as well. A famous Greek mathematician and philosopher, Pythagorean, discovered that musical notes can be described using numbers called ratios. These ratios explain why some notes sound pleasing or harmonious when played together. For example, he noticed that certain simple ratios like 2 to 1 or 3 to 2 create intervals that sound naturally good to the ear. Today, I will explore how these ratios are used in Pythagorean tuning, showing both the power of the mathematics in music and its limitations as well. By the end of this presentation, you'll see how math can predict harmony, but also why real instruments sometimes need a small adjustment to make music sound perfect. Okay. All right. So these are the harmonic nations. Harmonic ratios are numbers that describe a relationship between two notes. They help explain why some notes sound pleasing together. For example, an octave has a ratio of 2 to 1, a perfect fifth has a ratio of 3 to 2, a perfect fourth has a ratio of 4 to 3, and a major third has a ratio of 5 to 4. And this means that some notes are different, they vibrate different, so they may be a little lower and a little higher. So I'm gonna show you how to do this. By the way, these numbers are just, or not numbers, letters are just to for me to explain, or just for me to type on the keyboard as I'll be using a virtual keyboard. Okay, so I'll start with C4 as the lower note, pressing C4 and C5. So that would be TS. So then we'll go with the perfect fifth, which is ratios 3 to 2. So for me, it's TO on the keyboard. Okay. Next, we'll go with the perfect fourth, ratio of 4 to 3. And for me, is T to I on the keyboard. Okay. And finally, a major third, which is the ratio of 5 to 4. And for me, is T to U on the keyboard. Now to slide 4. Pythagorean tuning. Now we'll look at Pythagorean tuning. And Pythagorean tuning which is named after the ancient Greek mathematician Pythagoras. This system is built by stacking perfect fifths, which are intervals with a ratio of 3 to 2. By stacking fifths, Pythagoras created a scale when every note is mathematically related. So I'll go back to the demonstration again, and we'll start with C4 as our first note. The first perfect fifth, which I showed you, is T2O for me. So okay, so from G4 is so we'll go to another perfect fifth, which is D5. So G4 to end D5, which is uh, okay. And then we'll go from D5 to the next perfect fifth, which is A5. So from there, it's like this. And then A5, from A5 we go to the next perfect fifth, which is on top of that is E6. So it sounds like this. Oops, sorry. As you can see, stacking fifths builds a scale entirely based on simple ratios. However, there is a limitation. If we keep stacking fifths, how I just did, eventually the notes don't perfectly match the octaves. This tiny mismatch is called the Pythagorean coma. It shows that while math can explain most of the harmony, it can't make every note perfectly in tune. Modern music fixes this using equal temperament. But Pythagorean tuning is a great example of the connection between math and music. Okay. All right, now for the limitations. Now that we explore harmonic ratios and Pythagorean tuning, let's talk about the power and limitations of mathematical and music theory. First, the power of mathematics allow us to understand why certain intervals sounds harmonious. For example, the octave, the perfect fifth, the perfect fourth, and the major third are all based on simple ratios like 2 to 1, 3 to 2, 4 to 3, and 5 to 4. These simple ratios explain why these intervals are naturally pleasing to the human ear. Using these ratios, mathematicians and musicians like Pythagoras were able to construct scales and tuning systems entirely from numbers. It shows that math is not just an abstract, but it has a real audible effect on music. It literally helps. So, now, for the limitations though. While stacking perfect fifths and Pythagorean tuning is mathematically elegant, it does not perfectly match the turning octaves. Does not match the octaves, sorry. The small discrepancy is called the Pythagorean coma. It demonstrates that mathematics alone cannot produce perfectly in tune note in every key. Some intervals in Pythagorean tuning may sound slightly off, especially when playing in keys far from the starting note. So it so in modern music, they solve this by using the equal temperament, which is slightly adjust the interval so that all keys sound in tune. This shows that while mathematics provides a strong foundation for understanding music, particle considerations sometimes requires some a little bit of adjustments. Yeah. So, equal temperament. As we saw with the Pythagorean tuning, stacking perfect fifths is mathematically elegant, but it doesn't perfectly match octaves. This small mismatch is called the Pythagorean coma. To solve this problem, modern music uses equal temperament. So, as we're going back to the piano, equal temperament divides the octave into 12 equal steps. So every key sounds into. This means that no matter which key you play in, the interval are adjusted slightly so they can work perfectly together. For example, a perfect fifth in C sounds just as in tune as a perfect fifth in an F hash or any other key. So on the screen, you can see keyboards showing all 12 notes evenly spaced in an octave. So we play first the perfect fifth from earlier. It's the same. But now if we play the perfect fifth in a distant key, so this one is like this. So here is a perfect fifth in a F hash. In equal temperament, it sounds in tune just like the fifth in C. By adjusting, sorry, By adjusting intervals like this, equal temperament allows instruments like playing pianos and guitars to play in all keys without any note of sounding out of tune. This shows how mathematics is used not just to understand music, but also to solve particle tuning problems in modern music. So, in conclusion, mathematical music theory is a powerful tool. for understanding harmony, constructing scales, and explaining why music sounds pleasing. However, it also has real world limitations, reminding us that music is both a science and an art. By combining mathematics and creative adjustments, we can achieve both precision and beauty in music. Thank you for watching this video, and goodbye.